boy who lived come to die.
Fala Hogwarts.
One ring to rule them all.
It's my last chance to say it. Rose Tyler.
Major FM at the Movies with Francesca Pidgeon. Brought to you by Major FM. Hello, and welcome to Major FM's weekly celebration of music from both the big and small screen. Here at Major FM, we decided that, what with the increasing popularity of both sci-fi and fantasy, we would dedicate this hour to some of the most popular. I'll be playing scores from the likes of Game of Thrones to the more family-friendly Harry Potter, and will also be including one of your own suggestions, which has been picked in advance via Twitter at Major FM. So let's begin with the aforementioned Harry Potter, as it was, for all the book fans out there, the 17th anniversary of the Battle of Hogwarts just a few days ago. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, written by J.K. Rowling, was split into two films, with the latter featuring the great fantasy battle scene outside of the Wizarding School. Therefore, what would be more appropriate than the piece of music composed for, spoilers, the villain Lord Voldemort's demise? That was a score from Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, composed by Alexandre Desplat, called Voldemort's End. Desplat, who recently won an Oscar for Best Achievement in Music for the film The Grand Budapest Hotel, was tasked with composing the final instalment of the decade-long Wizarding saga, and was in fact the fourth and final composer of Potterdom, the others being John Williams, Patrick Doyle and Nicholas Hooper. Although prominent scores such as Williams' now iconic Hedwig's theme are renowned amongst the franchise's fans, Desplat offers stoic and stirring themes appropriate for the dark and apocalyptic Deathly Hallows Part 2, perhaps not as catchy but still beautiful pieces. Speaking of catchy pieces of music, Game of Tones. Major FM are holding a competition which could see one of our listeners winning a trip to see the London Symphony Orchestra perform at the Barbican Theatre, followed by a night's stay in a 5-star hotel in London, as well as £500 spending money. All you have to do is correctly guess which film the following recognisable score is from. To enter, either text us at 81500 with the answer followed by your name, or tweet us at Major FM with the hashtag MajorFMFilm with your answer. Up next, we have a score from the TV series that has not only recently restarted but has skyrocketed in popularity, Game of Thrones. The piece of music chosen is entitled The Children and is the last score to be featured in Series 4, where one of the protagonists, Arya, sets off on a boat to begin her new life as no one. Major FM at the Movies. Once the protégé of the well-established Hans Zimmer, Ramin Djawadi is now a composer who was nominated for a Primetime Emmy for his work on both Prison Break and Flash Forward. However, Djawadi is now well known throughout the fantasy genre as a composer for Game of Thrones, The Children being a score of his that was just played here on Major FM. The author, George R.R. Martin, of the uncompleted book series A Song of Ice and Fire, which Game of Thrones is based upon, is said to be a massive fan of the work of the Lord of the Rings author J.R.R. Tolkien, so much so that he adopted the latter's double R's into his own pen name. This brings us to our next piece concerning hobbits, which was first heard in The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, which also featured in the more recent The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey. Concerning Hobbits is an acclaimed piece by composer Howard Shore, who won 3 Academy Awards for his work, such as this, on the Lord of the Rings franchise. It contains the main themes for the Shire and the Hobbits, which can be heard throughout the trilogy, and is intended to invoke feelings of peace, which I personally think Shore succeeded at. It is now time to reach the results of the Major FM competition. Game of Tones. Earlier on in the show, we played this highly recognisable score. In your thousands, you texted and tweeted in for a chance to win £500, a trip to a London Symphony Orchestra show, and a night stay in a 5-star hotel. But there can only be one winner, and that winner is Kaylee Stanbridge in Essex. Well done to Kaylee. We will be in touch shortly, and congratulations. I'm afraid we have reached the final score of the show. Now this score comes from Caroline, who tweeted in earlier this week. If you have tuned in from the start of the show, you may have an idea of what is to be played from our intro. Yes, it is Doomsday from the BBC sci-fi series Doctor Who. Murray Gold, the composer of this piece, specially composed the score for the Doctor's companion, Rose Tyler's Farewell, using the same vocal work from Rose, the piece from where the character first entered the Doctor's spaceship, the TARDIS, thus creating a bookend effect. As a favourite among fans, and an emotional piece for myself, I shall close the show on this. I have been Francesca Pigeon for Major FM's Friday Night at the Movies. See you next week. Major FM at the Movies.